Welcome back to the On Deck Circle podcast. As you can see, we lost some dead weight. His name was Dave Eddy. I am one of your hosts, Nick Z, and my man over here is Jason. Jason, how you been?
What is going on, Nick? It is great to be back. 2023 baseball season is upon us. The On Deck Circle is back in full force. First episode of the year. Feeling good, feeling great.
I'm ready to roll.
Hell yeah.
And with that, we're going to start a new segment starting right now. It is called the Cold Open Question of the Week. So, folks, maybe my mom's watching. So, 1 to 5 people watching currently because we did not do a good job promoting this yet. But we will, I promise. So, I am going to ask Jason a question. Then he must answer after our theme music hits. Do you understand that, Jason?
I understand it.
Jason, as you know, a passion of mine is professional wrestling. Yes?
Yes.
All right. This weekend, we have the Royal Rumble. Are you aware of what the Royal Rumble is?
I am.
30 people come in. They get thrown over the top rope. Which MLB player do you believe would win a battle royal of MLB players? Ready, set, play the damn music. All right, I'm waiting with bated breath, and do not say Dan Vogelbach. Go.
No, but the funky music was back, felt good. I'll answer your question, then I have some nuggets to drop on you with the wrestling.
Yes.
Okay. Who would win in a Royal Rumble? I gotta go Pete Alonso.
Okay.
So I feel like along the same lines of Vogelbach, but not quite as big, maybe a little bit more limber, a little bit more agile.
The polar bear.
Yeah, he's going to maul people. He's going to throw them over the ropes. Might even get one of those quick, people running for the forearm over the ropes. He ducks. They go over the rope.
Okay.
Keeps going. Yeah, I think also, I'm trying to think of another good one.
Mine is Aaron.
I don't know, but are we there?
I think I lost you. Can you
hear me? I lost you. I can hear you now.
Okay. You're stuck currently, but I can hear you. So that's really
okay. Yeah, we'll roll with it. You can hear me, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so that was my answer to the question. But now I want to tell you this. So now, I have 2 sons.
Yes.
I'm currently getting my kids into wrestling. And I will have you know.
Go.
I'll have you know that we both watched the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw on Monday. And I will say, I was actually pretty impressed. There was, I don't know if you saw, I'm sure you did, but.
Oh, I saw everything.
The minute I turned it on, I'm not even joking, the timing I turned it on was D-Generation X coming out, which brought back so many memories. All the memories. And then they went on to do a little, some big German guy came out and.
Walter. Yep.
And then they proceeded to almost confront him, but then they didn't because they were all old.
Too old, blah, blah, blah.
It was awesome. I'm not going to lie.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was a lot of nostalgia. I didn't end up watching all of it because my kids go to bed.
Yep.
Real quick question for you about that. Did Stone Cold ever come out?
Stone Cold did not come out. The glass did not break, but maybe at WrestleMania in a couple weeks. A few weeks.
Oh, okay.
But this weekend, Royal Rumble, it's on Peacock. So
I was going to ask you this too. Okay, so I saw it on Peacock.
Yep.
Do you have to pay for it or is it free?
It comes with your Peacock subscription. All
right, let's go. I might tune in Saturday night.
Yeah, you can shoot me a text. We can talk shop.
Absolutely, dude. I'm like I said, I was feeling the nostalgia all about it on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so good. It's one of the one things, don't tell my fiance this, that truly makes me happy.
So do you watch on Friday Night SmackDown too?
Oh yeah. I mean, all of it? Not live. I hardly ever watch it live.
Okay.
Especially because Monday's the Bachelorette. So gotta watch that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I usually watch it either Saturday morning, I'll watch SmackDown, and then Tuesday I'll watch this.
Okay. Yep. I'm getting back into starting to learn some of the people.
Yeah.
Not to go off on too much of a tangent, but I did have a question. Those 2 guys that are they come out in basketball shorts and jerseys. Are those guys old like
No.
NBA players? Okay.
No.
I thought the name sounded familiar that they may have been like NBA players, but
No.
I guess I'm wrong.
So another fun fact, names most likely not real.
Oh, okay. That would make sense too, like a stage name of some sort.
They want to like own it.
Right.
So if they sell a shirt that says Jason Beckner, you'd get money even if you're not with the company. But
sure, that makes sense.
A shirt that's Beckner Jason, that's not your name. They own it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, man. Well, that was a good, quick little wrestling update.
So mad during that. He would have been like, "Give me warp, whatever."
Well, that was our little bit of tease in for some wrestling, maybe some more wrestling talk in the future. I think based on our little conversations that my 5-year-old is ecstatic.
Your 5-year-old and your 30-year-old podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it, man.
All right. Well, this is the On Deck Circle podcast. So let's get into some Dynasty baseball talk here. Before I get into that, though, we are, sponsored here by the Fantasy Six Pack on the Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and leave a comment if you that suits your needs. Also, another quick update too. This year we are running again the Fantasy Six Pack series. If you're interested in playing against some of the Fantasy Six Pack writers as well as just other civilians and other industry folks, head on over to fantasysixpacks.net. You can sign up there. It's free to enter. There are no monetary winnings, but you do get one hell of a trophy from Trophy Smack.
Dave sent me that trophy today, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need that!"
It's super fun.
It's bigger than my apartment.
I unfortunately did not win last year. I don't know if anyone's listening. It's kind of familiar with TGFBI. There's like a series of different leagues broken down, but then there's also an overall winner, and the overall winner will get that trophy from Trophy Smack. So head on over to fantasysixpack.net, sign up there, and let's just get right into it from there. The first thing we're going to talk about, you want to go pitchers or hitters first?
Let's go hitters.
Hitters are always more important, right? So let's go there. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the first two that we're gonna talk about here.
Yeah. My question is to you first. Do you consider McCarthy, like where are you at on McCarthy in general? Jake McCarthy for the Diamondbacks. Like, are you a fan? Are you indifferent? Do I need to like convince you that he's good or what?
Maybe a little convincing. I think the best thing about him is that he's gonna get the playing time because the Diamondbacks are garbage. So the playtime is there. So why don't you give me a little bit convincing on why I should be drafting and why I should not be sleeping on Jake McCarthy.
All right, man. That is what I'm here to do. If I told you that Jake McCarthy was better than Alek Thomas, would you say yes or no?
It's funny you asked that because I almost listed Alek Thomas as my sleeper.
Alek Thomas is good.
I like Alek Thomas, but he had quite a rough rookie year. So I'm going to say McCarthy's better.
Okay.
Or had a better 2022.
Currently, from our former podcast hosts' rankings, McCarthy's 77 to Alex Smith's 52. And that is way too big of a gap. So I'm not saying that Jake McCarthy is going to be like this amazing guy, but where he is perfect value. Like, I absolutely love his speed, and he doesn't hit the ball hard. His baseball savant, I'm not sure if you looked at it. It is like Coors Light Blue Mountains. It is so bad. But you know what's red? His speed. He does not hit the ball hard, but he doesn't need to. He can hit a dribbler to third base and run through first base, steal second base, then steal third base. In the second half last year, he stole over 25 bases, I think it was. I should have written
23.
23, thank you. He stole 23 bases just in the second half. And that's something that is valuable that late in a draft where you're getting him. So again, I'm not saying Jake McCarthy is going to be this amazing stud, but I think he's going to be someone that you'll see within the top 50 next year in the outfield. I may have traded for him in my home league. That's neither here nor there. That is not the reason why I'm talking about him, but it is the reason why I know that he's not that bad. I did trade Joe Adell and Joey Wiemer for him. Wiemer, high, like a prospect that's like relatively high. I guess he's like top 50 pretty much everywhere. But I think McCarthy is just like what you want. He's 25. He's quick. He's going to get the playing time. And my only concern is that with speed, one injury can kind of fuck that. But
right.
I genuinely believe that he's going to be a lot better than the outfielder 77.
Yeah, I mean, he gets on base too, so he's going to get those stolen base opportunities, and the Diamondbacks are going to steal bases because they're just
74% contact rate. Like,
they need to generate runs, so stealing bases is a good way to do that. And I think Jake McCarthy is what we wanted Alek Thomas to be in 2022.
Exactly. And he's just
right?
It's just because it's Jake McCarthy and not the sexy name of Alek Thomas. He's not Corbin Carroll.
Right.
He's better than Alek Thomas.
I think at some point Alek Thomas will rebound. He's not the hitter we saw in 2022. But I think for the quick, instant sleeper, especially we're talking about 2023, I think I'd rather draft or have McCarthy on my team over Alek Thomas, because we don't know if Alek Thomas is ever going to be back up. He may take some injuries. Yep. He's going to have to really go back down to AAA or AA and prove himself after that kind of abysmal 2022 rookie season or debut. So yeah, I like the Jake McCarthy all out there.
Thank you, Jason. All right, next. This is someone that I strictly did this because Dave is not here to correct me on anything. Yeah. We'll go with Austin Meadows. Oh, hold on one second, actually. Hey, Dad. Good. I'm recording a podcast right now. Okay. All right, bye. I love you.
You should have asked him what he thought about Jake McCarthy's outlook for 2023.
Doesn't know who Jake McCarthy is. But so I just did this strictly just so Dave could be pissed off. I went with Austin Meadows.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to tell you about his numbers last year, but I do not think there was enough of a sample to do that. Was that a compliment that didn't have to actually look into numbers? Maybe. But I basically looked up just like players that got hurt. Like that's what I wanted to like look into, because Jake McCarthy is my like not dart throw, but like my further away guy. And Meadows, I think just like when he was with the Rays, I always thought he was just like good, like a steady Eddie guy. And I think that's what the Tigers really need. So I'm hoping that is what he is. And he just needs to stay healthy. And I think it was vertigo, right?
Yeah, it was definitely some sort of like it
wasn't a baseball.
It was not a baseball injury for sure. It was definitely some sort of weird, off-putting, like just not like serious injury to be worried about. I guess vertigo can linger, but
it turned into anxiety. Like something went there, and I'm excited to see him bounce back. I'm sure everyone hopes he bounces back, but I'm interested to see how it goes with him, because it's basically a fresh start now, because you had the offseason, you're ready to roll.
Yeah, and I mean the last two somewhat full seasons he's had with Tampa. I mean, even if you look back to 2021, 27 home runs, 106 RBIs. And then 2020, got the shortened season. Can't really hold that against him. But then in 2019, again, 33 home runs, 89 RBIs. So, I mean, obviously the skill's there. He's proven it. The power is there. The only thing is basically staying healthy and being, getting those at-bats that are needed, because when he is healthy and does get the at-bats, he's obviously proven that he can, hit with the best.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you for those sweet, sweet sleepers. Let's get into my two hitter sleepers. I'm going to go with a little bit more of a veteran mix with a rookie, somewhat of a rookie. My first one is actually going to be Whit Merrifield, who's now an old face in a new place. He was traded at the deadline last year with the Toronto Blue Jays now. I think, this guy's kind of been, that speedster we were just talking about, how with Jake McCarthy is kind of like similar to that, but just older. We've seen him, steal 40-plus bases in the year before, multiple times. I think he averages like 25 stolen bases a season. Last year, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty bad when he was in Kansas City. But we know when you're on a team that's losing and no one's hitting, and it's contagious, right? So I've taken a little bit of a chance here with a change of scenery. He did also steal 16 bases and only had a 298 OBP last year. So the little bit that he was getting on base, he was taking advantage of and getting those bags. But since he was traded to Toronto, while it was a small sample, I think it was like a month and a half, 2 months there at the end, he did slash 281, 323, 446, and had an OPS plus of 118. And he also had 5 home runs in only 44 games. So, I mean, we kind of did see a little bit of a, turnaround there at the end of the season. Some red flags are he is getting older, which obviously then knocks his speed down maybe a little bit. But he is only 2021, we saw him steal 40 bases. So it's not like, I'm not saying he may do that again, but, if you're talking about someone like a late sleeper you're looking for, maybe adding for cheap in, your dynasty league, I mean, I bet you Whit Merrifield, the owner at this point, is either just acquired him or has been sick of having him on his team for the last 5-6 years. Just another cheap option. Deals are getting harder and harder to come by. Why not take a chance on a guy that's, averaged 25 stolen bases over his whole career, actually. And now he's in a new place. Doesn't have to lead off anymore in Kansas City. Now he's in Toronto. He doesn't have to lead off. Doesn't have that added weight of pressure. What's that?
He has something to play for.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Kansas City, you're in the dumps. You're not, no one's hitting. It's not contagious. Now you're in a lineup where the offense is obviously a way better lineup. So I'm intrigued and see what he can do here in 2023 on this first full season in Toronto.
Yeah, and you'd be able to get him too, just because he's that dreaded 34.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's a veteran. Not the most ideal piece to have for your dynasty baseball league, but
to win.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just all win on these young 19, 20-year-old prospects. So, yeah, I mean that's gonna be my first sleeper. And then my next one, which I'm not normally a huge catcher. I'm not a huge catcher guy, but at some point you got to give catchers some love. And I feel like we might be coming upon one of the next top, you get the top 3 to 5 catchers and you're set. If you're looking, you might be the buy low window might be kind of out the door at this point, but you never know. We're talking about William Contreras, which is Wilson's younger brother. He was on Atlanta. He's now been sent off to Milwaukee in the trade. 25-year-old, so he's got that little bit of seasoning. Now going to be the primary catcher for Milwaukee. He's going to slated to hit in the middle of that order. So the playing time and the at-bats are going to be there. The high leverage at-bats, the meaningful at-bats are going to be there. And then get this, in his first full season last year with Atlanta, he slashed 278, 354, 506, and had an 860 OPS. I mean, out of a catcher position, that's just phenomenal when you compare him to other catchers. And he also has power, too. 20 home runs, which was top 5 in the NL with anyone above 350 plate appearances for catchers. There's some outliers there in the catcher home run rankings, like Cal Raleigh. He's not going to hit 30 home runs again, right? So I think this guy's arrow's pointing up. You might be able to get him still kind of on the cheap, depending on where your league is, how deep your league is, if it's a 1 catcher or 2 catcher. And he also hit, a lot of that success is from hitting the ball hard. He was in the 84th percentile in hard hit rate, 90th percentile in X slugging and WOBA. He's got a good approach at the plate, 10% career walk rate. So it's I think the wheels are up for here and the arrow's pointing up for William Contreras. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge catcher guy. I don't really go out there and say buy catchers just because if you don't have one of the top 3, it's what's worth.
It's a young one that could potentially. Speaking of catchers, can I actually ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I told you before we started here that I am in the middle of a startup draft.
Yep.
Where are you at? Oh, and I actually just got put on the clock. Wow. Endy Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was until maybe once new rankings came out everywhere.
Right. He was that guy this year that everyone's drooling over.
Yeah. And it's the 4th round. 4 catchers have already been picked, and he's not.
And this is part of the prospect section, right?
Yeah, it's just the prospects. So 4 prospect catchers have already been picked. And he seems to be the top on every list that I see.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah, I'd pull the trigger on him for sure.
And he's quick, right? ETA?
Yep. Yeah, that's yeah. I want to say he either up this year or he maybe even had a small cup of coffee last year.
Some guy went back-to-back catchers. He went Alvarez and then Cartier.
So yeah, he was in AAA last year, so he will be up probably at some point in 2023. Pittsburgh's looking to make that youth movement. I feel like we're getting pretty close to a lot of these guys making their debut.
Fucking catcher like 1-1. Henry Davis.
Yeah,
that was dumb.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I pulled the trigger on him.
Nice.
Thank you for your help.
No problem. All right, let's get into these pitchers now. We'll just back and forth, let you go again here.
Yeah.
Talk about your pitcher sleepers.
Wait, is this a Red Sox player?
Couldn't be with Nick on the pod.
With me? What? Bryan Bello. The one thing that I'm excited about for the Red Sox this year, because it does not look great. If we're being completely honest, everything needs to like break their way for them to be like decent. And like it very much could happen. It really could. But for that to happen, Bryan Bello needs to fucking break out. And I think it very well might happen. Do you know who Bryan Bello has been working with all offseason, Jason?
I do know, actually.
Who is it, Jason?
Pedro Martinez.
Pedro Martinez. Do you know who is my firstborn son will not be named after because my fiance won't let me, but I would like to name them?
Pedro Martinez.
Pedro Martinez Comac Zaniboni. It's too long of a name. That's fine. But
I'll put in a good word for you.
1, he plays for the Sox. I'm in.
Yeah.
2, worked with Pedro. I'm in. 3, the end of last season, he was so good and just like so. I don't want to use the word dominant because that's like Johan Santana was dominant for a brief period of time. But Bryan Bello was just exciting to watch. He was someone that, since they weren't great at the end of last season, if I saw Bello was pitching, I was like, all right, I'll actually sit down and watch him pitch. And he knows how to pitch. As a young guy, I feel like all the young players, I think Hunter Green kind of dealt with this at one point. They just threw because he could throw hard.
Yep.
Bryan Bello knows how to pitch and where to locate those pitches. And that's where I'm at. And I think he's going to learn. He's still so young. And what's very funny is I traded your sleeper pitcher for Bryan Bello just because I'm a homer. But like, I'm just so excited for him this year because it's the one thing to be excited about. Him and Cassis are the two, like, okay, they understand with like there's a vision. But I'm pumped. Did you also know he got a tattoo of 100 the day after he hit 100 miles per hour on the radar gun?
Oh, nice. Gotta love that. That's a nice little tidbit.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm super pumped for Bello this year. And grain of salt because I am a Red Sox guy. I don't know how you feel about him in general. Are you for, against, indifferent?
No, I like what he's got. I think we saw super power pitcher, dominant on the mound. The only thing we didn't see which is expected when you're coming up as a rookie, the control issues, right? I mean, He was walking a ton of guys last year, but we did see it during at the end of the year. Some of that bounce back, control a little bit was there. Now he's working with Pedro Martinez, which I mean, that's all you need to know. That guy's he's gonna tune in that control, and I mean, I think
an old guy.
Yeah, I think Belo's he could have a great year this year. They're gonna be counting on him. Only thing that worries me is at some point this year they're probably gonna get to an innings limit. He's never pitched. He's only pitched over 100 innings once in his career. So there will definitely be some sort of inning limit. But hey, I mean, we're talking Dynasty baseball here. This is a great, this is a great sleeper to think about, even as a non-homer.
Okay, thank you. So you agree?
I'm in agreement with you on Bryan Bello.
Okay, I also think to speak of the innings limit, I think he's gonna pitch. He won't. The issue with the Red Sox, this is going to be a Red Sox tangent now, is their starting rotation is just like old guys that get hurt. So I don't know if he's going to break camp as this in the rotation. They've got Paxton, they got Sale, but Paxton, Sale, Kluber. Oh yeah, they're all going to stay healthy. So I think it might be someone that you might have to store, at least in your minors, for a little bit. But I think he could be a guy. He should be good enough to pitch in the starting rotation right now. Should be. But
for sure.
Want to. That's fine. Next, completely different view for me with this guy. This is going to be a throwback. I think on like our first episode, I talked about St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Kim. I don't remember his first name. I'm pretty sure he might be out of the league now.
You also put us on to Ryver San Martin, which is another Reds pitcher.
Yeah, big Reds pitcher guy, and you got to sell him every single time. Graham Ashcraft, right? Yeah.
Yep.
This is strictly an innings play. The Reds, they're not good. They're not going to be good. But this guy, he's got time. The Reds have time to deal with him not being great. But he's great for like a 4 ERA, like maybe 4.25 or so. But I don't think he'll ever get up to 5. And he's going to get the innings. So if you need that end of like to reach your minimums each week, he's someone that you're going to be able to add, especially on like a 2-start week. You might be able to trade for him like for, I don't know, like something stupid. But I think he's just a guy to watch out for because you need those guys. You need the innings eaters, the ones that aren't going to wow you, but they're not going to hurt you. So if you need the 45 innings a week and you're like, oh shit, I need to like, he might even be on to like in like a 15, 20 team league, he might be on your waiver wire. So if you just pick him up on a spot start basis, that's going to be great. Again, this is kind of like a Jake McCarthy. I think Jake McCarthy's better, but he's not going to be someone that's going to win you a championship, but he is someone that's going to contribute to your team and not hurt you. Because
yeah, for sure. You are you must be like head of the Cincinnati Reds like pitching development. You always come on this podcast and keep hyping up these Reds, these deep sleep Reds pitchers.
That's me, man. I tried to trade for him recently, and the guy was like, nah. And I was like, okay. He knew.
All right. Well, from one homer pick to another, I'm going to go ahead and, you're going to get a Boston guy. I'm going to get a Chicago guy.
Hell yeah.
This guy, he's, if you're in Chicago, you know him, and you may even know him, within your circle too. But let's talk about Hayden Wesneski. Came over in a trade last season from the Yankees. I don't know what the Yankees were doing when they gave him up, but hey, their loss is our gain because right now he's not slated to start the season in the rotation or probably in the the major league roster at all. I guess barring any sort of like crazy spring training numbers or maybe a spring training injury. But I think at some point, maybe at least by middle of the year, June, we're saying maybe end of May, he'll be up in that rotation because there's going to be an injury. Drew Smiley is bound to be on the IL at some point.
Exactly.
He'll
injuries to the old guys.
Yeah, so he'll be up at some point. So I'm there for he still got. I think he still might be considered a prospect in some circles, but whatever. He only appeared in 33 innings last year, but I think when you look at those 33 innings, he had a 2.18 ERA. He had an under 1 WHIP at 0.94, 28% CSW. It doesn't technically qualify as a in the qualifying pitching stats because there's only 33 innings. But when you look at his xERA and xWOBA, they were both in the 99th percentile of those stats. If you were to, again, it's a small sample, you can't really compare it, but I think it's something to at least note. His ERA, his xERA were right in line with each other. He made 4 starts, and of those 4, 3 of them are quality starts, which for a rookie coming up, I think that's pretty eye-opening for me at least, especially if you're in a quality starts league. You're getting 75% quality starts. That's great. Again, like I said, I don't think he's going to be up right away, but still, I don't think it's anything that alarming. He will be up. He's been up already. He's got nothing left to prove down in the minors, so I think it's just maybe a timing issue, and we'll see him sooner than later.
I was recently reading about him.
And what you read?
In an article on The Athletic, and it was measuring. This was like a fantasy baseball article, and it was measuring like their stuff rating. They have a certain like analytic that they go off of, and stuff rating. He was 80.
Love it.
Ahead of ahead of Michael Kopech in this dude, like whatever they use for this, but Zach Eflin, Montas, Walker, and like if that's all you need.
Yeah,
like
talking
you're not
dirty to me.
the ace, but he's gonna be like a contributor that's gonna be good and like help you. Exactly.
Yeah, like exactly. He's not going to be your staff ace, but I can definitely think he'll be at least putting up SP3 numbers.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, the low ERA and if you get up that strikeout rate a little bit, I mean that's all you can ask for at that point.
For sure.
And my next sleeper is going to be Jesus Luzardo, a little bit of maybe like post-hype sleeper. He came up, then he had some, a little bit of a downfall, went to Miami now, and now he's having a little bit of a bounce back at the end of 2021, and then also in his first full season with Miami. He was sidelined with an injury for the first half of the season, so it's, again, a little bit smaller of a sample. But once he came back, I think it was like, the beginning of August, so about 2 months, he had a 3 ERA, again, an under 1 whip at .98. He had a 196 average against. 9 of his 12 starts were all quality starts. He started to throw his fastball less and rely more heavily on his curveball and changeup, which, for someone that's a rookie, I think, leaning more heavily on your secondary pitches is something that's, maybe a little bit underrated. I think you can, get a lot of success on your secondary pitches, even for throwing them as your first pitch. The changeup was a really big game changer in 2022. He had a 44% whiff rate on the changeup and almost a 10% increase from 2021. So not only was he throwing the changeup more, he's having a lot more success with it. I don't know if that was maybe a philosophy change when he went to Miami, but you can definitely see the success has happened versus 2021. He also attacked the hitters more in 2022 when he saw his career best first pitch strike rate up by 7%. He also had a 32% CSW, and which is above his career 30% CSW. So obviously, again, it's another small sample. Both Hayden and Jesus Luzardo were both small samples. We're talking about some sleepers here. Trying to not really, go for some guys that we've seen produce at a high level at the major league level. So I think Jesus Luzardo, being in the new system in Miami, could have been a philosophy change. Saying, hey, throw those secondary pitches a little bit more often, get some success with those, and then set up the fastball. And I guess it's it's obviously translating onto the mound because he had a great 2 months. It's a small sample, but a great 2 months there from Miami at the end of 2022.
Yeah, I love Jesus Luzardo. Have I told you my Jesus Luzardo story?
No, I have not. Or you have not, sorry.
I was there. So my fiance's sister works for the Nationals or worked for the Nationals.
Okay.
And I was there when they traded him to Oakland for, I think, Sean Doolittle, but she had to like leave the family cookout.
Okay.
Like she was like PR for them or something along those lines. So she had to like leave the cookout to like write up a press release. And this was before he was even like a thing. And I just like remember the name because like Jesus Luzardo, like that's a cool name.
Yeah.
And then like one day he like popped up. I was like, oh my God, I remember when you got traded. So that's my Jesus Luzardo story.
Nice.
Yeah, man. What do we got?
All right. Well, now we're gonna go to I don't know if it's a new segment, but we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit of it's not Dynasty baseball without prospects. So let's get into a little bit of prospect talk to end the first podcast of the year. We're gonna go with your guy first. Go back and forth a little bit, and why don't you tell us a little bit about Miguel Bleis?
I think it's Bleis.
Bleis, okay. You're so I'll go with you. What'd you say?
So this is again someone that. So with international signings, it's a crapshoot. It really is. Like it's exciting because like you see someone how much money they gave, you're like, oh, he must be good. But then you read these like comps, and like who was Jason Dominguez? I think he was like Mickey Mantle mixed with like Babe Ruth, and like he was like 16.
Yeah, exactly. Just an insane comp.
Yeah. So this is someone that the Sox signed last year, 2021, international free agent. And according to Sox Prospects, which is our 30 Rock, Ian Kundle's website, he is the third ranked Red Sox prospect. So I didn't want 1 and 2 being Mayer and Casas. And then fourth is, I don't know how to say his first name, but Rafaela Cedine.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, he's a shortstop or third baseman or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
Bleis.
going to attempt to pronounce his name.
Yeah, no. I mean, I can't even say Bleis. So, but Bleis is someone that I saw today in my research. Bleis was one of the most outstanding prospects in the 2022 Florida Complex League. And then, of course, I had to Google, what is the Florida Complex League?
Oh, come on.
I know. I'm bad. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But apparently, there's a lot of talent there. So it's it's great to hear that Bleis is doing so well. A scout who saw 18-year-old. So yes, he is only 18, which is a baby in baseball years.
Right.
Believe that he has the makings of a true 5-tool player. Is that actually possible? Is there a real 5-tool player out there? I don't know. There's always some sort of red mark or asterisk on someone's game. So I'm not going to fully believe that he's a 5-tool guy. But he's so good at what he does, and that is getting on base. And he hits the ball. Just hit the ball and you'll be good. And he's pretty quick too. My only thing is, obviously, he's 18. He's a boy. He's a little skinny, but as a skinny guy myself, like, he currently weighs 170 pounds and he's 6'3". Like, give me up to 2 bills. Get him some weights wherever he is. Maybe Heim can buy him some weights because they're not spending money on anything else. Anyway, Miguel Bleis, I'm all in on him. I'm excited for him. I can't trade for him because every guy that has him is a Red Sox fan because they saw that they got international money. I'm pretty sure he was like out of the top 10. So like usually that is like just your homer pick in your FYPD. Yeah. Just because like you're like, all right, I'll just do a dart throw. The Red Sox signed him. So I'm not allowed to get him. Jake Devereaux has him in one of my leagues, and he's holding on to him like it's his fucking daughter.
Right. At least until, maybe a couple more seasons and see how he matures.
Exactly. Yes. But he's exciting. I'm excited about it. It's good to be excited about something. And the top of our prospects seem to be doing well, and we'll see.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm loving the prospect talk. It's only July 25th, but nothing gets the Dynasty baseball gears going like some good some good prospect talk, right? Especially before spring training's even started.
Can't wait.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and discuss mine here. This one's, I don't know if it's a super under the radar prospect as much as Miguel Bleis but I'm going to go ahead and talk about Jonatan Clase, the Seattle Mariners. This guy's got elite speed. Fangraphs gave him an 80 grade speed, which they go up to 80 scale. Pipeline gave him a 70 grade speed. And he's only 20 years old, so he's a little bit older than your guy, but he just came off his best stolen base season with 55 stolen bases in 2022. Again, this is low A, so take those numbers for what you will with a grain of salt. But I mean, 55 stolen bases, even if it's low A and stolen bases are, everyone's running and stealing bases, you can't ignore 55 stolen bases.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So he's got elite speed.
Not here because he'd be all over that. Oh, it's single A.
Yeah, exactly. If it was like 15 or 20 stolen bases in single A, I would go, okay, yes, pump the brakes. But 55, so yeah, he's a switch hitter. He's now that he's starting to mature a little bit. He's now up to 20 years old. The power's starting to show up a little bit too. He's hitting more fly balls, which obviously is then resulting in more home runs. He had 13 home runs in 2022, and he also had 91 runs. So while the power's not going to jump off the page and this guy's going to hit like 20, 30 home runs, if he's getting you 20 plus, 30 plus stolen bases and hitting 15 home runs, take that all day. He's got a good approach at the plate. He had a 13% walk rate in 2022. Gets on base a lot too. I mean, it's only been 3 seasons, so it's a small sample, even in the low minors. But he gets on base. He's never had an OBP lower than 333, and I think last year was a career high of OBP at 373. Sorry, not quite a career high, but still 373. So if he can keep going those power numbers, the speed's there. Speed's something that you cannot teach. You cannot just all of a sudden learn. So the speed's always going to be there. If he can start getting a little bit more muscular, put on some more weight, keep hitting those fly balls, improve the launch angle, those home runs, 13, all of a sudden you're hitting 15, hitting 20. I don't think anything's going to get us higher than 20. I think 15 might be like maybe 10 to 15 is probably the max. I think, I don't really target rabbits per se. This guy might just be a rabbit. But with this, at only 20 years old, we've seen a little bit of pop in the bat. Take a flyer on him. Good sleeper in your he's probably outside, depending on how much you roster in your league.
Yeah.
He's probably not rostered if you're in a more of a shallower dynasty league. This is probably more of like a deeper guy. Still, if he isn't, reach out to the guy that's got him and see if maybe he's willing to give up on someone like him.
Do you know what's crazy? He's actually like within the top 150.
Is he?
I
think it depends on where you look. Some guys have him like 150. Some of them are like in the 2.
I didn't know he was that.
Well, because he just had a great 2022. Because before that, he was just stealing bases. He wasn't doing much else. But now we've seen a little bit of power. Shooting up the boards a little bit.
Yeah, wow. I'm surprised. I own him in one league, and like I did a very good job actually last year at like just picking up random free agents that like popped. I got very lucky. Yeah. But like, wow, you taught me some stuff today. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Next week though, Jason, do you know what we're talking about?
I don't know if I do. Why don't you let us know?
We're going to start our position breakdown. We're going with the battery, catchers and starting pitchers.
Love it.
One guy you're high on, one guy you're low on, and then one prospect, because we are a dynasty.
We give you what you want. We give the people what they want, right?
And you guys, we sent out a survey at the end of last season, and you said, get rid of Dave. And then boom, he's out of here. This podcast got a lot prettier.
This is for the people, by the people.
And if that's my cousin in Florida, that's fine.
If he was the sole survey participant, that's fine.
That's fine. Maybe we bring on a guest here or there. Maybe I slid into Tristan Casas's DMs on Twitter and said, hey, you want to come on my podcast? And maybe he didn't open it yet. But like maybe by next week he will, and he'll just show up.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're not confirming or non. We're confirming / non-confirming.
He's not coming.
Yeah.
So tune in next week. Find out if Tristan Casas is here. Maybe that'll just be our bit, and maybe our bit will get so big that he'll see it. I'll just tag him in every single thing, and maybe he'll actually show up.
Yeah. We'll just announce right now. Tristan Casas next week. Join us then.
Oh.